So my name is Jacqueline. I'm an admissions specialist, and the Office of Admissions really handles all of the first steps. So a lot of the programs that you're going to hear from tonight do have a selective admissions um, process, but you do have to apply to the college in general first. And after the rest of the presentations, we will go over the steps to getting started. Like Carrie mentioned, we wanted to briefly talk about the different types of programs that we offer here at the college. So basically, most students come to us because they are either doing some type of career training or they're planning on transferring to a four-year institution. So some of our degrees are designed for transfer. We work with those four-year colleges and universities to design those degrees so that when students do transfer on, they are ready to jump into whatever their major is. So your general education requirements are complete, and then you're ready to transfer onto your four-year school. We do also have a variety of career programs that are designed for you to jump right into that career field once you graduate with us. So lots of options. We're not going to go through all of them tonight. They are on our website, and we also have some short-term career training programs through our Office of Workforce Development. So that is another option. But tonight we're specifically talking about those programs that fall under the Science and Health umbrella. So we'll highlight those tonight, but if you do have questions about any of the other programs that we offer, you can either reach out to us via email or you can stick around and Casey and I can answer those questions at the end.
Okay, so next we are going to move on here and Kenny Wilson is going to kick us off with a presentation about our biology department. Kenny, would you like to introduce yourself and your title and all that good stuff?
I would. I found it funny that I've been sitting out here the entire time Jacqueline was talking. Everything was quiet and peaceful. And as soon as you get ready to go to me, the dogs decided they needed to sing the songs of their people. So it was good evening. Despite what Jacqueline says, all the cool programs are here tonight. All the cool faculty. No, I'm just kidding. We have great faculty everywhere, but School of Science and Health has the best faculty. My name is Kenny Wilson. I'm the Associate Dean of the School of Science and Health. We have chemistry, biology that you'll hear from tonight. And then we have our healthcare programs. So I'll let all of them talk about the wonderful work that they do in prepping you for a healthcare career, which are all in high demand right now. So great things await you there. I'm going to get the opportunity to talk about our biology department. All of the programs you'll hear from tonight are supported in one way or the other by our biology foundational sciences. So anatomy and physiology, microbiology, general biology, vertebrate anatomy, vertebrate physiology, all of these courses that are within the biology pathway that set you up and prepare you for specialized training in one of these wonderful programs you'll hear about later. The other place from a biology perspective is transfer. And I will say that we have some great things on the horizon that we're working on right now. One of those is the potential, and I underline potential, of an Associate of Science in biology that we're hoping to start in fall of 22. We are in the process of working through that, and I think we've made some really good progress. And I think we'll be able to make that happen. But our biology programs courses are set to match up with our four-year partners, so that once you complete a sequence of biology courses here, those courses will transfer onto your four-year school to prepare you for a multitude of fields in biology, post-baccalaureate healthcare programs. You'll hear about physical therapist assistant tonight. My background is as a physical therapist. Physical therapist is a post-baccalaureate training program, occupational therapy, speech language pathology, medical school, physician assistant, and a whole litany of other programs that are post-baccalaureate, which means you'd come to Jefferson College, get your associates, move on to a four-year school, get your baccalaureate, then in that process, you would apply for admission to one of these post-baccalaureate programs. So in the biology department, we have the opportunity for both of those opportunities, either preparing yourself for admission into a healthcare program that we offer at Jefferson College, or preparing to move on to a four-year partner where you're either going to laboratory, biological sciences, biological engineering, and a multitude of other programs of study based off of that biology tree. So I am just excited that you guys are all here on a Monday evening, and I'm anxious to hear from all of the wonderful faculty in the School of Science and Health that will sing the praises of their programs, and I'll stay. And if you guys have any questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer them. So Carrie, that is my spiel in less than 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. Is Wesley here yet?
Wes will be here shortly, so you
Okay,
may want
so
to
we're
move
going
on
to
and come back
skip
to him.
over chemistry for now, and then we are going to move on to PTA. And I am going to try to share my screen so that I can be a good driver here. And so Bridget is going to be talking about PTA and occupational therapy assistant.
Good evening. My name is Bridget Webb. I too, like Kenny, am a physical therapist and started the PTA program back in August of 2011. So I'm here tonight speaking on behalf of both the PTA and the OTA programs. The OTA program director, Shannon, tonight is her birthday and she was not able to be here. So happy birthday, Shannon. And Carrie, whenever you're ready, we have a little presentation to tell you about both of the professions as well as the admissions process.
Okay, can you see that?
I cannot.
Okay, are you sharing your screen?
No.
Okay, hang on here.
Hold it up.
Hang on, technical difficulties.
Well, hold on. I pulled it up just in case. Can people see that?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can see it.
Okay.
And I just figured out how to do it, so.
Okay. So hopefully you're seeing a split screen, a career in physical therapy and a career in occupational therapy.
We see it.
Perfect. Okay. So the Jefferson College Health Programs, we'll start with the PTA program. Job description for physical therapist assistants is that they work under the direction and the supervision of physical therapists, and they provide individualized treatments based on whatever the patient's need. So that could be a variety of different exercises, that could be manual therapy, functional training, teaching people how to walk again or how to be able to go up and down stairs, or include physical agents such as electrical stimulation, traction, hot packs, cold packs, ultrasound, whatever the patient may need to help with reducing pain or rebuilding strength. Physical therapist assistants, like occupational therapy assistants, will work with people of all ages and abilities. So from preemie babies all the way up to those over the age of 100. They'll work with people who have a variety of abilities or disabilities and in a variety of settings. We can work with patients in the hospital, in a skilled nursing facility, outpatient facility, in their homes, pediatric hospitals, any type of setting. The person may have been injured, may have been recently diagnosed with a condition that can become chronic, such as a heart attack and the resulting coronary artery disease. They can work with patients who have diabetes, multiple sclerosis. We may be working with patients who are trying to avoid surgery. Maybe they have low back pain and they can benefit from some exercises as opposed to having surgery. They're trying to get over the use of prescription drugs, or just trying to create healthy wellness habits. The Career Outlook, and this comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics and their Occupational Outlook handbook, but the growth for both PTAs and OTAs is high above the national average for other occupations. So anywhere from 29 to 32%, depending on whether you're talking PTA and OTA, and that's for growth through 2029. And unfortunately, we don't know what the impact that COVID will have on people. So for those who have had COVID, they're going to have potentially some chronic conditions affecting their hearts and lungs that PTAs and OTAs will be able to help them maximize their quality of life and be able to do whatever they need to do or want to do throughout the duration of their life. Salaries, the median, so kind of middle annual wage for PTAs in May of 2019 was getting close to 59,000 with a range from 33 all the way up to 80, over 80,000. And that depends on the setting, whether you're in a hospital or home care or a physician's office, location, urban versus rural, and number of years of experience. Soft skill requirements. So in addition to everything a student will learn in regard to all of their technical and general education, a PTA needs to be able to work with people, have a caring personality, cheer them on to keep them motivated to achieve their goals, have problem-solving skills because, day in and day out, everything doesn't always go smoothly. So trying to navigate through problems and motivate their patients and empathize with what they are going through. A PTA, regardless of what state anybody is coming from, all states require PTAs to have an associate's degree. So these are usually 2-year programs. Students take a variety of general education, such as biology, anatomy, communication, history, English, as well as PTA technical courses, which will delve further into the anatomy of joints, work on therapeutic exercise, ways to collect data, and then specialty courses on orthopedic conditions, neurological conditions, and pediatric conditions. Students have to complete hundreds of hours in the clinic working under the direction and supervision of a licensed PT or PTA. At Jefferson College, at a minimum, our students spend 580 hours in the clinic, and that includes the final 12 weeks full-time leading up to graduation. All the states in the District of Columbia do require PTAs to be licensed, registered, or certified. So there is a national agency that administers a standardized test that PTA graduates must pass to receive a license. It's a 200-question multiple choice test. But once you're licensed in one state, you can apply for licensure in any state and it would be granted because it is a national test. As far as our PTA program, we require a GPA of at least 2.5, whether that's coming from high school or if somebody has completed some of the general education coursework that is required for our degree plan, then we would calculate the GPA based on those courses. Prior to admission, a student needs to have completed either English Comp 1 or 2 and earned a grade of B or better, and completed at least a 4-credit Anatomy and Physiology 1 course that had a lab component, and also earn a grade of B or better within the last 5 years. We do typically have interviews and students complete on-site essays. Last year we did all of that virtually. We're still kind of waiting and seeing whether or not we'll do that face-to-face or virtually again this year. We require a letter of recommendation and admissions exam. We may require some observation hours as it's getting a little safer for students to return to outpatient clinics. And then we have our own specialty application and some forms that students sign in addition to the application to the college. As far as the OTA program, similarly, an OT assistant will work under the supervision of an occupational therapist. Occupational therapists rehab at patients who have some more maybe mental and emotional problems or developmental impairments that maybe a PTA will do. Think about it, PTAs tend to focus on the larger muscle groups, of the legs and returning to walking. Whereas OTAs will work a little bit more with maybe the upper extremities or the hands and trying to help people with their daily tasks, tying their shoes, getting dressed, brushing their teeth, feeding themselves, cooking a meal. They will also work a little bit on the safety and mental capabilities of someone being able to live independently, make sure they maintain safety during those daily activities. OTAs, like PTAs, need an associate's degree from an accredited program, and all states require licensure of their OTAs. Similarly to the PTA, OTA programs are 2 years of full-time study, and that includes clinical work as well. They call it field work. And the whole last semester, the last 16 weeks in the OTA program at Jefferson College, the students spend under a licensed OT or OTA. So the skills and traits required of an OTA, similar to a PTA, being able to persuade patients, critically think, make good decisions based on active listening, being a good problem solver, time management, enjoy being with people and helping people, being able to clearly communicate with people. The career outlook for OTAs is also great, 32% through 2029. And their salary range in the median, so right in the middle, was 61,500 with a range of almost 42,000 to 82,000. Again, it all depends on which setting in which the PTA and the OTA is treating, location as far as urban versus rural, and number of years experience. The OTA program, their applications tend to be due August 31st, and then they would start the following January. The PTA program applications are due earlier in August and would start that same month in the fall semester. OTA also requires a GPA of at least 3.5, but they require more prerequisites, having completed A&P 1 and 2 prior to application, English Comp 1, General Psych, and have the ability to take a motor core math class. After applying to either program, once a student is admitted, we complete criminal background checks, drug screens, physicals, and CPR certification, as all of this is needed either to be able to sit for the licensure exam or participate in clinicals. So we want that information up front. Also have to provide proof of common childhood vaccinations prior to beginning clinicals and field work, as that is a requirement. So I will hang around, so if anybody has any questions, you can certainly ask me, but this is the contact information for both Shannon and myself. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Bridget. I'm so sorry. I figured out what I did wrong. I had planned to share her slides for her and help her out, and I wasn't able to do that. All right, next we're going to hear from Amy Mcdaniel in our nursing department.
Hello all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So my name's Amy Mcdaniel. I'm the Director of Nursing at Jefferson College, and started out as faculty and worked as a faculty member for many years, and have since gone into the administration side of things, and am really proud of our program. Our program is a little bit different than some that you may have heard. Our program is considered a 1+1 program. And what that means is there's really 2 levels. So the first level, level 1, is the practical nurse level. We have our level 2, which is the associate's degree level, and we consider that the level 2 RN level. What makes our program a little unique and a little different than others is it does have that kind of clear delineated stopping point if you so chose. So most of our students do come in with the intention of completing all the way through level 1, level 2, and then graduating with their associate's degree, thus making them eligible to sit for the national licensure exam, the NCLEX RN. Now, we do have some students who kind of take a different path. So our program does have the ability to just complete level 1, the practical nurse level. At the end of the level 1, you would have the option to stop there. You're eligible then to sit for the national licensure exam for practical nursing, the NCLEX PN. So it's a little unique with our program. And we also have a bridging option. So because there are a lot of LPNs working in the state of Missouri already, we do offer a program that allows current LPNs, licensed practical nurses, to bridge into our level 2 RN program. So again, just a little different, kind of sets our program apart just a little bit than other programs that you may have heard. One thing that I do want to explain about our program, because it can be a little confusing with all of the different programs in the state. There's a lot of different ways to become a nurse. So again, with our program, you can go through and become a licensed practical nurse, an LPN. You can continue on, become an associate degree prepared nurse, an RN. And that differs a little bit from, say, a 4-year university. where you would go for 4 continuous years. And at the end of those 4 continuous years, you would graduate with a bachelor degree, but you would sit for the same national licensure exam, the NCLEX RN. So doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of difference as far as the type of schooling that you get in order to pass the same licensure exam. We encourage the community college pathway because it does allow for a stopping point for students who aren't able to go through those 4 continuous years. A lot of our current students are allowed then to work while they're going through school, finish with their associate's degree, go to work full time, and then let your employer pay the other for those other 2 years to gain your bachelor degree. So it's just a really good and kind of a seamless pathway. As far as application process to our program, a couple other things that make our program a little bit different than others is we do offer a full-time day program. We also offer a what we consider a part-time evening weekend program. Our day program does have a fall start. Therefore, our next application cycle is going to be April 5th. So all applications for our fall full-time day program are due April 5th into the nursing office. As far as minimum requirements go, we do have a 2.8 GPA requirement. We have a 4 credit hour A&P course that is required upon entry. We have a little bit of a unique application process in that even if you haven't completed all of those prerequisites, you may still be chosen as a conditional applicant, conditional upon passing and progressing on through that application cycle and having met the minimum requirements. Our evening weekend program does have January start. So we will be looking in October for that application cycle for the evening weekend program. What makes that a little different is really that first year, that level 1. That's the biggest difference in the day program versus the evening program. The evening program, it allows our students, those who do need to work full-time, it allows you to work full-time Monday through Friday, and then come to class in the evenings and do your clinical hours on the weekends. So really good for students who, like I said, have to have that job Monday through Friday, but it allows you to then be able to come and do your evening weekend studies. As far as the evening program and the day program, the biggest difference, like I said, is that day program is going to move at a little bit of a faster speed. So the level 1 is 3 semesters long. Level 1 in the evening weekend program is stretched out quite a bit and it's 6 semesters long. So all in all, the full-time level 1 level 2 day program is going to complete in 5 total semesters, running fall through May of the following year, fall through spring, for your level 1, and then another 2 semesters. The level 1 and 2 evening program, like I said, you're going to have a total of 9 semesters. So you'll have 6 evening weekend level 1 semesters, and then we add on 3. So it stretches it just a little bit. So again, the evening weekend program is a really good choice. It's a really good option for those students who do have that family life, who do have to maybe work, or this just allows them that opportunity and the time in their day to be able to complete their dream or complete their own studies. Again, I'll be here at the end to answer any questions that you have. If you have any questions about our application process, the application cycle, I think it's kind of what we probably get the biggest amount of questions about. Most people know in general what nurses do, so I don't really go into that so much as just more of the nuts and bolts of our program, what makes our program a little bit different from others that you might see. So that's all I have for you tonight. And then I'm happy to stick around at the end to answer questions.
Okay, thank you, Amy. And
Great.
Professor Whitfield, I know you just joined us. We're going to pick up chemistry at the end, so I will not forget you. So we are going to move on to health information technology with Nikki Vogelsing.
Okay. Hi, Carrie. Can you hear me?
Yes. We can
Okay,
hear
good.
you.
Okay. As Carrie mentioned, my name is Nikki Vogelsing, and I am the director of the Health Information Technology program here at the college. When I do an overview of our program, I always like to start off with explaining what health information technology actually is, because I think some people are very confused about what the actual program stands for. So HIT as a whole is the area of healthcare that oversees the technology systems that healthcare providers use to manage patient data. This also includes things in regards to your electronic health systems, and that's where your healthcare providers and patients use those systems to store, share, and analyze information. We are the one non-clinical healthcare program here at the college. So if you have certain students that, come up and say, I really would love to be in healthcare, but blood kind of freaks me out, then this is definitely a route that they could take. We are definitely the business side of healthcare. So we offer an Associate of Applied Science degree, and that includes obviously your general education courses, your math, your history, your oral communications, that type of stuff. And then we have our core HIT classes. We do have an open admissions. However, whenever you're taking the classes within our program, you have to obtain a grade of a C or better in all the HIT courses to continue throughout the program. We've had a few students that's become an issue, and while they can take the course a second time after that, then you will be removed from the program or you have to start over again. Students can start in our introduction course in the fall and the spring semesters. So that is, a large selling point at times that you don't have to wait an entire year to get into our program. We are CAHIM accredited, which allows our graduates to sit for what's called a Registered Health Information Technician credential. This credential is highly sought after by a lot of our employers and really does set our students apart. Once the students obtain this credential, it's recognized throughout the country. They do continuing education hours to maintain that credential, but it really is a good stair step when they're looking for jobs and being able to get into those higher level positions. Some of the courses that we actually offer in our program would be our intro course, like I mentioned. We do a legal class, which includes all the HIPAA topics. I think people always hear that acronym when it comes to healthcare. So we cover a lot of those within that class. We have statistics, quality, coding, billing and reimbursement, and a capstone course as well. Our students do also complete 40 clinical hours, and this provides them the opportunity to not only take the coursework that they do within our classes, but it also combines it with real world experience. So this helps our students see, what areas of the profession do I really like? And, what are things that I thought maybe I liked, but maybe it's not for me. So all of our students, in order to complete those clinical hours, they do have to pass a drug screen and a background check. And I think most people know this is a standard when you are looking at any type of healthcare jobs, but it is a requirement of our program. And then we do utilize multiple computer systems to prepare the students to work in an electronic record. So anytime you go into a hospital, a clinic, different things like that, all the medical documentation that is generally being generated is then housed within an electronic record. Within our capstone course, we complete different things, including test prep for that, the registry exam I mentioned. We do resume and cover letter skills. We do professionalism. We go over a bunch of case studies and then really kind of push the students to that higher level thinking from a management stance as well. Individuals within this profession, they can work in different settings. Of course, there can be hospitals, clinics, insurance companies, legal offices, IT departments. There's really a very wide variety of the different areas that you can use this skill set. And the job outlook is still shown to continue to increase over 20% all the way up through 2026. So obviously students that are looking towards this type of program, there's a lot of growth that can still be had. A lot of the roles that these students are taking and our graduates, they started out in a certain area within the hospital, and then it kind of snowballed into more of an IT role, and they're doing a lot of computer-based work. Salary-wise, a lot of the students, they can see ranges from anywhere from 30 to 50,000 coming out of school. If you get into more of a management-driven position, it will generally be 50,000 and plus, but that obviously depends on their experience and just, all the specifics of that specific job description. Our program takes 2 years to complete. We do have classes that are during the summer as well, and we advise our students throughout the process. We offer different types of financial aid here at the college, and we do always work to ensure that the students are prepared to work in the ever-changing healthcare workforce. One thing I constantly tell my students is, always be willing to learn something new. Healthcare changes just as soon as you think you have your hand around it, something shifts. So we're always kind of pushing our students to see, and work outside of the box and build a lot of good skills that'll really make them a strong employee. So if you're wanting any additional information, we have a bunch of info on our website at www.jeffco.edu. That includes stuff with our course sequences, our job descriptions and course descriptions, different student testimonials and things like that are also there and available. I'm also available by phone at any time at 636-481-3419 and by email. So I will stick around till the end of this call as well in case there's any questions. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, and now we're going to move on to Veterinary Technology. Oh, and I forgot to mention Dana Devoy will be leading that presentation.
I'm coming. Can you hear me? I'm trying to start my video.
I can hear you.
Okay. Hello. I'm going to attempt to share my screen. And I've never done it from Zoom before. Am I sharing?
I can see it's on your Zoom screen. Yep, I can see it.
Perfect. Okay, so my name is Dana Navoy, and I am the director of the Veterinary Technology program at Jefferson College. Just going to share a little bit of information initially about what a veterinary technician is. So you guys have probably all taken your animals to the vet, and you will have a variety of people working there, from receptionists to assistants to technicians. Technicians specifically are graduates of an Associate of Applied Science, an AVMA accredited program that they have completed, an Associate of Applied Science degree. If they are licensed, in the state of Missouri, we're called registered, but they have the option of being licensed or even certified in different states. In order to hold that credential, they do have to complete and pass national and state board examinations. Currently, there are about 209 accredited programs throughout the United States, with 4 being in Missouri, and there are also 5 in Illinois. As a technician, once you graduate and pass your board exams, in order to maintain your license, you do have to be employed under the supervision of a licensed veterinarian. Also, to maintain your license annually, you do have to complete continuing education each year, and of course, pay a renewal fee. We are very similar to registered human nurses, in that our students or graduates are involved from inpatient care pretty much throughout the hospital. Our technicians work with outpatients. They are surgical assistants. They induce anesthesia. They help with recovery. They are taking radiographs. They're doing lab work. So they are utilized throughout the hospital. Our technicians also have the opportunity to specialize in specific areas if they have a strong interest in a particular area. And some of the specialties out there are nutrition, anesthesia, emergency critical care, behavior. So there are a lot of opportunities for technicians to advance and not be stuck. I don't want to say stuck, but they can branch out and they can move into referral practice. They can work in emergency medicine. They can work in university settings. So they have a lot of different options available to them. Our particular program at Jefferson College, those links are super light, but I did provide just some general information about our program, the admission procedures, and the vet tech application. So Carrie can share this with whoever, and I will also stick around to the end. So if you have questions, I will be available. So we are an AVMA accredited program. And AVMA is the American Veterinary Medical Association. So if you're working with students that have any interest at all into going into veterinary technology, you really should encourage them to go to an AVMA accredited school. And what that means is it's just going to ensure that the curriculum that is being taught meets their standards, and it's going to allow them to take boards once they graduate. We are a 2-year program, and we do have a summer internship class, and it's a summer class, but it's in between the 1st and 2nd year of the program, where the students are required to go out and work in a clinic, hospital setting under the supervision of a licensed veterinarian. We are also a selective admissions program, which Carrie mentioned that in the beginning. Our applications are accepted beginning July 1st every year, and that goes through March 31st of the following year. So we are currently accepting applications for fall of 21 start date. And if you have any students interested, our application deadline is March 31st. We do have a selection committee that gets together. We use a rubric to select our students. We accept currently 36 students each fall. We are hoping to increase our cohort size to 48 students in the future. We typically have around 70 applicants each year. So we are hoping to expand. We're currently working on a renovation to our dog kennel facility, so that hoping by fall of 22, we should be able to increase our cohort size to 48. As far as program prerequisites, we do require high school biology and chemistry, or college level biology. So if it's high school level, we do require that they are year-long courses and that they do have a lab component. At college level, just a general biology course with a lab will work for our prerequisite. Any of those courses have to be completed within the previous 5 years of the registration date, and they also have to be passed with a grade of C or better. We also have a minimum GPA requirement of a 2.25. So in order to receive a file review, we do have to have either, whether you're using high school or college GPA, it does need to be a 2.25 or higher. As far as our admission procedures go, we ask that you first submit the just general application to Jefferson College, and you can complete that online. And then obtain a veterinary technology supplemental application, and you can get that off of our website at jeffco.edu. I also provided the link on the earlier slide. So once you have that, you will fill that out and submit the $30 application fee to our cashier. We need official copies of high school transcript if you're using the high school GPA and or the high school prerequisite courses. We will also require official copy of college transcripts if applicable. So if you are transferring any coursework in, we will definitely need that. We do not need official copies of Jeffco transcripts. We have access to those, so that's not a requirement. We do review ACT test scores if the ACT was taken. If not, we will use the cumulative GPA for that during our application process. We also require form letters of recommendation. And then in previous years, this year we're having to waive this requirement, but we do like our applicants to complete and verify 16 hours of clinical shadowing observation hours. This year, because of COVID, most of the clinics and hospitals are only offering curbside services. So they have asked us not to send them applicants. They're just not wanting the general public in their hospitals. As far as our curriculum goes, the majority of our curriculum are program specific. So they are veterinary technology courses. Like I mentioned before, the AVMA does provide us with a curriculum that needs to be covered. So they definitely have required species, required skills, required information. So all of that is integrated into our curriculum to make sure that we are meeting their standards. The curriculum, unfortunately, that is specific to veterinary technology is probably not going to be transferable. It comes out to roughly 44 credit hours. And so the majority of that is not going to go anywhere. In addition to our coursework, we do have, of course, general education courses such as English Comp 1, US History course, computer literacy, and then a few electives that are required of these students to complete the degree. And then, of course, our science courses are vertebrate anatomy, vertebrate physiology, and microbiology for health sciences. Our application deadline, like I mentioned before, is March 31st. So if you do have any interested applicants or know of anyone who is interested, every year we've updated that recently, but that is going to be our new application deadline from here on out. I will say, as veterinary technicians in the state of Missouri currently, we are projected, I think, to grow about 16% through 2029. Our median salary currently is roughly $35,000 per year. And like I said before, they have an array of duties, of tasks, of jobs that they perform throughout the hospital. I essentially call us the registered nurses of animals. I always ask people when I do career days, especially younger kids, if you go to the doctor, how often do you see the doctor? And you usually typically only see them once. And so if they're seeing your animal, and then they're going to create a treatment plan and pretty much hand it over to the technician at that point, and they kind of take over from there. So like I said before, they're doing anything from inducing anesthesia to assisting during surgery, monitoring, recovering, radiographs, lab work. So they are pretty much running around and doing it all in the hospitals. I think that's it for me. And again, I will be around whenever at the end. So if you have any questions, and I'm going to try and stop sharing the screen. I think I did it.
You did a great job, Dana.
I've never done that on Zoom before. It was new to me, so.
You did better than I did my first time on Zoom. All right, and we will move on to Radiologic Technology with Janet Akers Montgomery. Oh, you're on mute, Janet.
Sorry about that. I was trying to get my video up, forgot about the mute. My name is Janet Akers Montgomery. I am the Radiology Program Director at Jefferson College. I do have my contact information up there. I'm also going to share that on my presentation that I give to you guys tonight. Rachel Dacus is our clinical coordinator. She can also be reached at the information that I have listed above. I am going to share. There we go. Are you guys able to see that? Hopefully. Okay, so my presentation is going to be an overview of the Radiologic Technology program, and including what we do, what skills you might need, career outlook, and application for our program. So a radiologic technologist can also be known as an X-ray tech, radiographer, or rad tech. We go by any of those names, but we're always going to be registered radiologic technologists. We utilize X-ray equipment to image tissues, organs, bones, and vessels of the body. Some people think that whenever they go to get an X-ray, the only thing that X-ray techs do is image broken bones, which we do the majority of, but we can also image the entire body. We can look at soft tissues. We can look at the intestinal tract. We can work in angiography, cardiac cath. We can also cross-train and specialize in other areas such as CAT scan, mammography, MRI, ultrasound, nuclear medicine, or radiation therapy. Some of these provide advanced imaging to patients. They get an X-ray first, and then the physician recommends they have other imaging exams done. So they would go to that specialized area and receive those exams. The radiology program at Jefferson College does offer some continuing education into CT and MRI. We offer that in the student's second year in their final semester, and we're also going to be offering mammography. Some students don't realize what they want to do until after they get into the program. So we do work with the students to make sure that they are getting a well-rounded education and understand each of the areas so that they can continue their education. We offer these courses to graduates, second-year students, and technologists that have graduated from other programs. So we're open to anyone for those classes. Radiology is a technology-driven career, so we now offer a PACS administration position too. That's picture archiving and communication system, which is our medical record type program for the storing of radiology exams. So it's specific to the radiology department. So a lot of times they want a technologist that's familiar with radiology and the exams to be that IT person on the radiology side. So we are needed, technologists are needed in every healthcare setting. We're not just in ERs and in hospitals. We work in clinics, pain management, chiropractors' offices sometimes, outpatient imaging centers. There's quite a few places that will employ technologists now because we're very well rounded and we can do multiple tasks within the department. So what skills and backgrounds are needed? So you don't really need a special background to enter the field. If you're interested in technology, or interested in healthcare, medical sciences, math, we do physics. Those are the areas that students often come to us and say, they want a healthcare career, but they're also interested in the technical side and advanced computer work. And we offer that. We work on computers every day. All of our exams now that we do are computerized. So we get the best of both worlds. It's a highly technical field. So that fits with those people that are very technical, but also want to be a healthcare provider at the same time. So we do have a lot of interactions with patients. So you do have to have good communication skills, which we work on within the program. You have to be a good critical thinker and problem solver because all of our patients are completely different. Just like in any healthcare setting, we don't get, a perfect patient that comes in. So we have to have compassion for our patients. We have to have empathy, make sure we understand what that patient is going through, because a lot of times our job isn't the easiest when it comes to, the patient isn't always comfortable when they get their exam. So we have to be able to communicate what we're doing and understand what they're going through and make them a little bit more comfortable after or during the exam. So after graduation from the radiology program, we are accredited through the Joint Review Committee on Radiologic Technology. After you graduate from an accredited program, you are able to take the national certification exam through the American Registry of Radiologic Technologists. It is a 200-question exam, and when you pass that, it is a national registry, so that means you can work anywhere in the United States or Canada. You do not have to take separate registries for each state. This registry will cover in every state. So all of our students, since we are a JCERT accredited program, can also are eligible for that ARRT exam. So the career outlook is very stable. We are always in demand. Right now, they've actually increased our salary ranges. So this salary range that you see here, the $44,500 as entry level, that has now increased to about $52,000 because of the market demand for technologists. There are 100 job postings in the St. Louis area right now or more, many of them with sign-on bonuses, which means if you agree to work for that hospital for a year, they may give you a sign-on bonus of $5,000 because they want you to be there at least a year and they're in desperate need of technologists. Whenever they were doing furloughs for COVID, they were actually hiring radiology personnel. So it works out well for us as a career field. And you're always going to be able to find a job in radiology. You can also grow with that advanced imaging modalities. You can get your CT, your MRI, your quality management, mammography. You can also go into ultrasound, nuclear medicine. And our program credits do transfer to higher education degrees. So a bachelor's or a master's degree in radiologic sciences or healthcare administration. Many of the colleges and universities that we work with, especially ones that are specific to radiology, they will take all of the credits you get through Jefferson College and apply them towards that bachelor's degree, which we do encourage as a transfer, because in order to get in any management position, lead technologist position, they are wanting students are wanting technologists that have a bachelor's degree. But most of these can be worked on while you're working full time, which is an extra bonus for that. So as you prepare for the radiology program, our prerequisites are very similar to all of the programs that you've heard before. So we have anatomy and physiology 1 and 2. We do require a B or better because that is the core of our program. So we do require that higher grade. Then English comp, algebra, computer literacy, history, medical ethics, and general psychology or sociology. We do also require, since we are selective admissions, we do require you to have letters of recommendation, job shadowing, and we do an essay and an interview of the students. The applications are open now, so that is available on our website, so you can see everything that is required. Because of COVID, we have not required our students to do clinical shadowing because a lot of the hospitals are not letting the students in. But if you do have the opportunity, if you already work for a hospital or institution that has radiology, we encourage you to do that to be able to make sure that it is a profession you want to get into. But there is an alternate kind of topic assignment that you do if you cannot get into a clinic or hospital. So we are a 2-year Associate of Science degree program. So our entrance requirements, again, are the selective admissions. So you have the prereq coursework, minimum GPA of 2.75 or higher, and you would submit your application in the spring prior to that fall start date. So we are accepting applications now, and we are taking applications through April the 23rd. Everything is electronic, so it's very simple to complete. You email it to us, and then after we receive that email, we'll be in contact with you for further information. And that is all I have. So sorry, that was a video. So courses within the program, we have Introduction to Radiography, Patient Care, Positioning. We actually have 4 positioning classes. Radiation Protection, Physics, Exposures, Radiographic Pathology, Radiation Biology, Pharmacology, Quality Assurance, and Imaging Modalities, as well as Cross-Sectional Anatomy. Okay. If you have any questions, you are the Rhonda Wall at jeffco.edu. I apologize, this was an older slide and I didn't realize that hers was on there. She retired, and Rachel Dacus is our current clinical coordinator, and that information was listed on my screen, so you'll be able to contact either of us for any information, or if you contact advising, they are more than happy to send that information on to us to be able to get you in touch with the right people. So I am going to stop sharing. Again, I'm going to stick around, so if anybody has any specific questions, feel free to answer. I'll be here to answer them at the very end.
All right, thank you, Janice.
You're welcome.
Last but not least, we have Leslie Whitfield, who is going to talk to us about chemistry. Wesley, are you here? There he is.
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Okay. Let me try to share my screen. Can you see it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Let me, oh, here we go. Okay. Let me try that.
I can see it. Yep, you're
Okay.
good.
Okay. So yeah, I'm Wesley Whitfield, professor of chemistry. I teach all the courses at Jefferson College. And right now, currently we offer approximately 20 credit hours. I'm counting the major courses that somebody who might go into a science degree like chemistry might take coming out of high school. So I'm not counting an introductory course right now, but we do offer that. We offer a chemistry 111 and 112, which are the general chemistry courses. And we offer chemistry 200 and 201, which is the organic chemistry sequence. These courses are typically required courses for transfer to degrees if you're going into courses like engineering, or biochemistry, pharmaceutical chemistry, of course, any type of bachelor in chemistry or biology or physics at a four-year university. We also offer the laboratory courses along with these lecture courses, and on all of them actually. Just to kind of give a little bit of a background for just the United States in general with respect to chemistry, the current job market for chemistry is not the fastest growing pace, but right now it's in between about 5 and 7%, predicted to kind of stay that way for probably a good, I don't know, 6 years, 7 years, maybe. Hopefully it'll go higher. And what kind of jobs can you get in chemistry? Well, as I wrote here on this initial slide, what is chemistry? Well, it's a study of matter and the types of properties it has and what it can be transformed into. So what does that entail for jobs? Well, let's say you want to make some new compound, something that fills a niche or a need. So you can go into synthesis where you create new compounds, you undergo drug discovery, you make novel and or natural products. What that means when I say natural products would be, let's say there's some compound that has an antiviral ability or capacity, but it's in some coral reef where if humans were to go in there and harvest it, it might damage the ecosystem. Well, you would then try to synthesize that product, and it's called a natural product synthesis. That's a pretty good career. There's material science, and what do material scientists do right now currently? A lot of it has to do with information and energy storage, as well as the conversion of energies into other useful energies. So light, heat, or solar. So also magnetic and optical properties, memory. How can you store memory? And signaling and detection. So if you're studying things in the body and you have sensors, or if you're studying how to make a sensor to work in some chemical manufacturing plant, all these things, these come about through material science. Biochemistry, boy, that's probably a huge field right now. It's antivirals, protein analysis, a lot of gene therapy. It's endless. What do chemical engineers do? Well, they are involved in working for chemical manufacturing facilities that convert materials that the planet already has on it into other starting materials that all the other fields I mentioned might need to use in their production. You can also do what's called computational chemistry, which is really hot right now. It started being hot probably about 20, 30, 40 years ago. Of course, it has the word computational in it. So as computer energy and power and memory usage and computational speed has increased, it's really starting to take off more and more. That's for people who really like the mathematics behind thinking about things logically. So what you would do in that type of field is where you would look at predicting or addressing what type of chemical structure and what kind of properties something would have via calculations on the computer and utilizing online databases. So that's just a few things right there. What I also wanted to add here is just a little bit, I don't have too much more for you. There's some, like I said, there's the careers. The other ones I didn't mention just now was something that would be maybe like a starting level for a person who goes into chemistry and maybe just wants an associate's. That would be a quality assurance chemist or a formulations chemist. Quality assurance chemists usually work with SOPs, standard operating procedures, where you get hired on by a company. It could be a biochemical or an agricultural company. and you really just work with trying to figure out what's the best way to make some formulation or analyze something to see whether the statistics are showing that there's a success rate that's worthy of continuing. And formulations chemist, a lot of my friends have done this, Coca-Cola, NBEV, places like that, where they're making beverages or foods, additives, colors and dyes for foods. So a lot of formulations chemists are in the food industry. You've also got natural healthcare products, and of course dyes and colognes and perfumes, and coatings and adhesives. I forgot to mention those. What are some typical salaries? Well, if you were to complete an associate's or a master's degree, you're probably starting out in the 40,000, maybe, it could be 30, it just depends on what kind of job tasks are associated with what your career it would be. But yeah, it's typically about 40. And then of course, leaning towards the master's side, you're getting into the 60s to 70s to even the 80s. With a doctorate degree, you can probably definitely breach the 80,000 dollar range. So it's pretty lucrative and pretty high paying career. As I mentioned, here's the courses. I just wanted to say them out loud and then of course show you on the screen here. So those 4 main courses that would probably transfer to a university and really help you with your quickening your pace through some bachelor's of science degree would be the Gen Chem 1 and Gen Chem 2 sequence. And currently, like I said before, Gen Chem 1 right now is a Motor 42 course. And the other 2 are Organic Chemistry 1 and 2. And those 3 that are not the Motor 42, right now they're just treated as electives. That this is all could change in the future. So who knows, they might become Motor 42 courses. And then I put introductory chemistry on there. That's for somebody who maybe never took chemistry in high school, but is interested in going into the nursing program or the vet tech program. So, or biology or biologist, a geologist, physicist, anything like that, where you don't know if you don't think you're really heavy into chemistry, you probably need an introductory chemistry course. So we offer that one as well. I don't have any more to for slide wise, but my name is Wesley Allen Whitfield. I think our information is available. Any questions anybody has, please send me questions. If you want to know what types of jobs people do in each of those careers, I can definitely send you more information. And I could even talk to you about what colleges and universities are good to go for if you wanted to do research after a 2-year stint before you go to a 4-year college. So that's all I have for you right now. And last thing I want to say is chemistry. You got to do it. It's awesome.
Great job, Wes. Carrie, before
Thanks.
you jump in, I just wanted to add one thing. And Wes might have mentioned this, but pre-med, if you're planning on going to medical school,
Forgot about pre-med.
pharmacy, if you're planning on going to pharmacy school, physician assistant, any of those high level post-baccalaureate medical type careers, you're going to need that 4 chemistry sequence. So much so that in our Associate of Science in Biology that we're looking to create, the 4 course chemistry sequence is in that course because it's required by all of the schools that all the schools that we've researched that our students would be going to. So just wanted to throw that in there. Great job, Wes. But
thank you.
Chemistry is great. Everybody should do it.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And we are going to move on to just a brief admissions checklist for those of you who have not applied to the college yet. And while Jacqueline and Casey are talking, if you guys, as students in attendance, could just do me a favor and in the chat, let me know which breakout room or which program you'd like to know more about, so I can divide you up if we need to at the end of the presentation. So Jacqueline and Casey, go for it.
Okay, so Casey is going to share some slides with you that kind of go over our steps to getting started. The first step, though, as everybody's mentioned, is applying for admission to the college. So all of these programs that are selective admission do require that you apply to the college first so that we can create your student record so that when you send your transcripts to us, everything is in one location. The application is by far the most straightforward step. So you just go to jeffco.edu. There's a button that says apply today. That'll take you to our getting started page where you can complete the application. Most of the information is contact information, biographical information. We don't require essays or anything along those lines. You do need your social security number or tax ID number. So if you don't have that handy and you don't know what that is, make sure you have that when you start the application. When you click on the link, it asks for a user ID and a PIN, but that's not something that you have already. It's something that you actually create. That is something that trips students up sometimes because it reads as if you should enter that information, that we have already given that to you. But you really just use that information when you're submitting the application to log back into it if you don't complete it all at once. So as long as you submit it at the time that you begin the application, you'll never need that user ID and PIN again. However, when you complete your application, we will generate a user ID called your MyJeffco login that you will use for the duration of your time at Jefferson College. So that information will be sent to you through an acceptance letter. If you're a new student or if you have not attended for a year or more, you do need to submit an application for admission. That information will be sent to you in that acceptance letter, and then also you'll get an email confirming that we've received your application. If you've never been a student before, you will also receive an email that will prompt you to set up your MyJeffco account. So you'll be able to do that before you even get your acceptance letter. But if you have attended before, you'll get that acceptance letter. They typically go out the same business day or the day after. So you'll usually receive it within 5 to 7 days or so.
Okay, so step 2 is filling out the FAFSA. And pretty much the FAFSA is just an application you fill out with the federal government to see what type of financial aid you're eligible for. So it actually stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. And so this is something you fill out every year that you're in college. And it's always tied to a fall, spring, summer. So there are actually 2 FAFSAs out there right now, one for the summer and then one for fall 21, spring 22, summer 22. When you fill it out, you just go to fafsa.ed.gov and it's going to ask you for biographical information. It will ask for your parent tax information if you're under the age of 24. If you're over the age of 24, you do not have to provide that. When you get to the very end of it, you sign and submit it electronically. It goes to the federal government, and it usually takes about a week or so for them to send it to us. Once we receive it, our financial aid office is notified of what kind of financial aid you're eligible for. So it's going to tell us if you're eligible for grants or loans. Grants is money that is gifted to you from the government that you do not have to pay back. Loans would be money that you would pay back. FAFSA is a necessary first step toward applying for any type of financial aid, and that's going to even include some scholarships. So for high school students that complete the A+ program while they're in high school, which is a program that helps to pay for your tuition at a community college, that actually is a scholarship that comes from the state of Missouri, and it requires that you fill out a FAFSA. Jefferson College also offers a lot of different scholarships. We have one application that you can fill out. Our scholarship application also requires that you complete a FAFSA. And the easiest way to find our scholarship application is just to go to the homepage of our website and type scholarships in the search bar, and it'll bring you to our completely online scholarship application. At the bottom of our scholarship page, you can also search for some external scholarships coming from businesses and organizations from all over. We have a link to a scholarship search engine called Scholarship Central. And so if you guys have any questions about any of that, whether it be completing a scholarship application, completing a FAFSA, or anything like that, you can always reach out to Jacqueline or to myself, and we are here to help you and answer any of those questions.
So step 3 is sending your transcripts. A lot of the presenters tonight did mention that we will need your transcripts. So many of these programs do have prerequisites. So you have to demonstrate that you've completed the course or you have to enroll in the course. Some of the prerequisite courses also have prerequisites. So the classes like anatomy and physiology, you do need to have high school level biology and chemistry within the last 5 years, or college level biology and chemistry within the last 5 years. So it's important to send your transcripts to us. Your high school transcript is what we'll use to see if you meet reading, writing, and math requirements if you've graduated within the last 5 years. And then if you have completed any college work, you'll want to send those transcripts as well. We can use an unofficial transcript for placement. So say, for example, you do want to enroll in anatomy and physiology this summer, but you have taken biology and chemistry at a previous institution. You can show us a student copy of your transcript and we can use that to enroll you in the class for summer. But if you actually want to transfer that credit into the college, you'll have to send an official transcript. So that's where that difference is. But we do encourage you to send all previous transcripts so that we can see what you've completed, so you don't have to repeat any courses if you have completed them already.
And then after you have your transcripts and everything sent, Jacqueline kind of touched on this a little bit, but pretty much we review that and we look to see how you place it into classes. And then once you've done that, then you are ready to meet with an advisor. And so really the main thing to remember is just filling out the application for admission, having your transcripts sent over to us. We'll look over those and we'll work with you to let you know if you need to take a placement test or anything. And then once you're ready to meet with an advisor, you can email advisor@jeffco.edu. You can reach out to Jacqueline or me, or you can even call our Hillsborough or Arnold location. We'll be able to help you get registered for your classes and everything. And this is our contact information if you have any questions.